What's up, world? Hey, I wanted to thank you. I'm gonna share with you some real important information, but first, before I do, I want to thank you very much. I'm getting a lot of real good feedback, real good input on the video content. That's not only here on Facebook, but also on YouTube or Twitter and Instagram. And I have all type of different content: audio, video, picture, text. And it's spread all throughout these different platforms, and I'm getting really good feedback. I'm getting people actually thanking me and telling me that their information helped them close a sale that day, helped them close a couple sales that day. And it's good, it's inspiring, because this is my passion, this is my hobby, and I love sales. I've been doing this for a very long time. The information that I have here works, and if you can't tell with the enthusiasm of my voice and how much I know about this subject, you can check the other the video and the content and the post. I do those posts, I do these videos, of course. So there's a wealth of experience that I hope that you can take some pieces away from this experience and improve your own hustle and take the grind out of your daily struggles. And in this particular episode, what I wanted to cover was just the common objection that I think we all face in sales. And it's a matter of not only having competition, but having, maybe you have fees or you have an interest rate that's higher than your competitors. And it's a challenge for us sales representatives to go into a situation knowing that we're outpriced, or knowing that we don't have the lowest fees or the lowest rate in our industry. And it becomes a challenge. And if you're going through that right now, don't think that your game is wrong, or that your game is off, or that maybe you went through a couple days or a week or a couple weeks with no sales. All I can tell you is that if you keep persevering, you keep pushing through, you'll eventually make it. Every single time that you get a lost sale, or you're not able to flip and convert that lead into a sale, if you simply walk away from it with the lessons learned, you'll be stronger. And so this is how I became stronger with the common objections of what's your rate and what's your fees. And usually that question is brought up at the very beginning of my phone conversation, or you might have the same type of inquiry that's brought up right at the engagement of the call, or maybe even face to face. And what I've done was I've used a script that I shared in a recent video about sales script, and it's designed to not only take control of the conversation, but really position yourself to line up at least 2 or 3 very powerful and highly impactful questions. And in this example, I want to share with you, I have a client a new client that I just completed the process today, and his name's Singh. And just in case you don't know my process, my life cycle, my sales process is from boarding to completion is about 45, sometimes 60 days. And before the process even starts, I have to gather very sensitive information. I never meet my clients, so it's all done over the phone. And I also are dealing with contacts and clients that are also dealing with other lenders and competitors out there. As a matter of fact, some of the clients that I talk to are already in process with my competitors, and it's my job to actually take them back and keep them with my company and keep them with myself under my name. And so this script is very impactful, because this is all I do is retain, is client retention, as well as new sale generation. And so the script that I designed was not only helpful to take control of the conversation, but really, again, position yourself to steer the conversation in the way that you need it to go, and the way that our sales agents need, or the way that you may need and find it most useful, is it's going to help you save some time. It's not necessarily about taking control of the conversation. It will help you save time, because you'll ask these important questions that are really going to filter and figure out whether or not that you're doing right by them. And so the question comes up often at the very beginning, what's your rate, what's your fee, can you beat this, I already got this quote. And this is what we come across, and that's why that script is so impactful. But the questions and this is what I want to get, because the script's already available in another video, is the questions that I could have asked. I want to share them with you, because you may be asking questions in this way, where if you just simply adjust the wordplay, the results and the amount of loyalty you'll gain from your client after understanding these answers will be much stronger. They'll stick with you. And again, my sales cycle is 45 to 60 days. I never meet my clients. My clients live all throughout the US. and I have their loyalty. They don't leave me, even though they're bombarded by all my competitors. And I think that it's really based on the way that I set the expectation, just like that sales script does, but also the way I ask my questions. And so, for example, one of the common questions in my field is, what is your goal? And that might be one of your questions as well. And in my experience, I never ask that question. I always assume that I'm going to find out for them what they need to do. And that in itself is powerful. Psychologically, it's different, and it's going to differentiate you from the crowd. And not only that, but if you ask them what their goal is and they want to do something that you're not sure yet that you can do, your only next question is, okay, well, let's begin. And some sales agents, I hear they'll say, okay, well, fair enough, I'm going to go ahead and start a process. Is that okay? Or start the application. Is that okay? And it's just asking permission that can ultimately give you a no, and now you're in resistance. And the problem with doing that up front is you're not yet in a position where you have enough benefit or enough leverage to keep that caller engaged. You can't keep them on the phone. They don't, they don't need you anymore if you ask too much information up front, and you're doing a disservice to them. And it's not the consumer's fault. The consumers are hardwired, and they're trained by mainstream media to want the lowest. They want the lowest rate, they want the lowest fees, and sometimes they don't understand that those low rates and low fees come with low quality. And you need different techniques, and that's what you're going to learn here. And so the question of what's your goal, I never ask. I never ask if I can start the application. I assume it, and I go right into the conversation. But one of the questions that I ask to be highly impactful is, in the way I word it, is I deal with financial terms. And so I'll ask them, with regards to your current terms right now, if I can improve your term, what would you do? What would you want to see as a result? And that question's different because they're telling you exactly what they're looking for versus what's your goal, right? Their goal can be very vague, like, oh, I just want a lower payment, or I want a lower rate, or I just need to save some money. But if you ask this way and you say, if I can improve your term, what are the results that you need to see? And they'll tell you exactly, they'll pinpoint it and say, oh, I need to see a payment at least a couple $100s less. And that's one less objection you'll have later on. Now, another thing that I can ask is, if I were to create this savings for you, what would your plans be? What would you do with the savings? And depending on your service or product, you could spin that off however. You say, put that money towards a bank, put it back towards a loan, or put it towards your other debt. However you plan to spin it off, you're getting the the result that they're looking for. And so if they say that they want savings, how I perceive it is that they want breathing room. And so now I'm going to find out why you need breathing room. What's choking you? And if it could be something like new daycare, or the cost of tuition has increased for my clients' kids, so they need to free up some cash flow. They need breathing room. And so instead of saying, hey, I think I can save you a couple $100, I'm going to say, hey, I can create some extra cash flow to help you afford your child's tuition. And it resonates a little more more efficient if you do it that way. Instead of saying, hey, I think I could save you a couple bucks, or hey, I think I could save you some money, tell them what they're going to do with it. And you're not doing it right away. This is all ammunition for your second call when you go over the actual terms. But again, it's just the wordplay. It's just the questions, right? And then finally, another question is that, with regards to your and my services are more different than yours, but I have the ability to upsell, so I can increase the loan amount, for example. And so one of the questions that I have is that I'll ask the condition of the property. I'll say, hey, on a scale of 1 through 10, what's the condition of your house? And a lot of times I'll say about 7, sometimes 8. And then I'll ask them to say, okay, well, if you can make it a 10, what would you do to the house? And then they'll go off with a list of things like, hey, I want a new deck, or I could do siding, or I could finish this room, or what have you. And then I'll ask them to say, what, how much do you think that would be? Well, sometimes not that much. It's about maybe 5,000, 10,000. And then I'll make note of that and bring it up at the second, for the second call, or for the pitch and the presentation. And the reason why these pieces are impactful is because you need to know whether or not you can create benefit and do justice to your prospect for spending the time and giving you the information that they need. And I think this information applies everywhere. It applies to any salesman, any saleswoman, any service, any product. And it's just a matter of understanding what your objections are and finding ways to justify that objection. And so, for example, if my common objection was rate and fees, I understand that my clients don't buy rate and fees. My clients buy a solution. And so if I can show you a clear path of how to reach your solution and my product being the vehicle to take you there, I'm going to make a sale. And this is why I'm very effective with selling over the phone and gaining loyalty from my clients. I have so much content, so much value that I'm going to bring you guys. And again, if you're still here 10 minutes after this video started, I appreciate you. You're going to learn a lot of information here. So check out the videos that I have on YouTube. Check out the videos I have on Facebook. You definitely want to get plugged into my Instagram feed. There's posts that will start your day off right. There's motivational pictures that will really put everything in perspective and spread the message that sales has no ceilings. You can go as far as you want. It's just all up to your hustle. How bad do you want it? So if you want it bad, I'll show you exactly how to do it. You bring the hustle, I'll bring the experience, and the money will follow. So I appreciate your time, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Later.